Welcome again to our revision for the exam. To get ready for the exam, you should focus on very important part that you studied this class series, persuasive techniques. Persuasive techniques are the ways or the style of speech that you can use to influence others or convince them to believe that your idea is true. And there are some examples of persuasive techniques. First of all, if you use alliteration, and we explained it before, alliteration is the repetition of initial sounds in each word of the sentence. So it is good persuasive techniques. Also, you can use the repetition. It means if you repeated the same word many times in your sentence, you can add more emphasis or assurance to your idea. Notice here, we will not tolerate police. We will not tolerate their behavior, and we will not tolerate them in the school. So the repetition of the same verb here added more strength to the idea. Also, there is another persuasive technique is anecdote. Anecdote, or mentioning your personal experience or something that happened to you personally, is also very good style or persuasive technique. For example, a personal story involving real life event told by the writer. Here the example: I know the damage speeding can do because my son was killed in a car crash. Also, very good technique is to use a rhetorical question. What's a rhetorical question? It is a question that doesn't need an answer, but only used to make the listener or the reader of your story or your issue or your argument more attentive and ready to understand or think. So we can use it in the initial part of our argument. For example, here, should footballers can be treated any differently from ordinary citizens? Do you think? Would you like? And so on. Inclusive language. What does it mean? We use the words such as you, we, us, our to include the reader in the argument. We all must donate and help save the children. It's our responsibility. So using these pronouns added some inclusive language to the reader. Exaggeration. To make an issue seem more important than it actually is. The government has been telling us millions of lies. The government has told us few lies. Okay, also we can use the quotes or expert opinions or scientific research results and so on that make the writer seem more credible when they have an expert supporting their argument. Look at this example. Dr. Bob warns smoking is bad for your lung. My friend Bob says smoking is bad for your lungs. Using an expert or important person's opinion to make your argument seem more convincing. Experts are often called upon to make one side seem stronger and more believable. Here is a quote from Albert Einstein, the famous scientist, Albert and the inventor. It's one of his finest quotes. Read it and try to think of the meaning. Another persuasive technique is groups of three. What does it mean? It means when three adjectives or phrases are used to emphasize a point. Homework is boring, dull, uninteresting. Ellipses means the omission, canceling, from sentence or other construction of one or more words that would complete or clarify the construction, as the omission of who are, while, I am, or while we are from, I like to interview people sitting down, and so on. Now it's summary of the persuasive techniques that we mentioned now. Rhetorical question that is asked makes the reader think. Repetition, to repeat the same word or phrase many times in one sentence. Emotive language. What does it mean, emotive language? Sometimes we use words that make the reader feel certain emotion. For example, he can sympathize, he can feel happy or sadness, and so on. For example, if we said, we are the poor children, the helpless children who are forced to do hours and spend a lot of time doing homework every night. Undoubtedly, this makes the listener or the reader of this sentence feel sad for them. Also, exaggeration, and we give more examples now. The information that is over the top. Facts and statistics. Facts and statistics. When truthful information is given to back up a point, for example, 95% of pupils feel that there is too much homework. It's a good technique that we use to make the meaning strong. Also, group of three, and we explained it before. Homework is boring, dull, and uninteresting. Now it's task time. Imagine you are trying to persuade your parents to allow you to stay out late. Which four persuasive techniques would you use? Choose any of the mentioned before or mentioned earlier to persuade your parents of your idea. Very good. You can use the following. Don't you remember what it was like when you were in my age? When everyone else was out and you had to sit in? It will make the meaning so clear for them.